Hi everyone. With Christmas just around the corner, it's essential to ensure your Azure environment is secure, efficient, and running smoothly while you are out of office for the Christmas period. In this video, we will look at some quick tips to optimize your Azure setup before you leave for Christmas, focusing on things like cost control, security, and monitoring while you're out of the office. In this video, I'm assuming you've already configured the likes of Azure Backup and the failover options for your production workloads, which is why we're not going to focus on that here. If you haven't, please do, and don't leave something so important to chance. The first thing that I recommend doing is setting up alerts for proactive monitoring with inside your workload. So in Azure Monitor here, we have the opportunity to configure alerts for our critical resources, the likes of our virtual machines, or databases, or app services, or production workloads essentially, to set up notifications for any unusual activity or resource overuse that can be sent to us via email or SMS. So in here, you'll select the scope. Inside Azure Monitor, you'll select the scope of what you want to monitor. You're going to go and choose the signal name. So you can go in here and choose what it is you want to get notified on. In my case, I want to get notified if my production workload virtual machine is powered off. The actions is how you're going to get notified essentially, or how you're going to be aware that this alert has been triggered. And basically, you're going to give it an action group name and how you're going to get notified. In my case, it'll be email. You can also get notified through text message as well. So this is a really useful way to be proactive. If anything is happening behind the scenes when you are out of office, you want to get notified on. And in addition to that, I recommend looking at setting up a simple dashboard where you can have a bird's eye view of how your production environment is performing. If there's any field requests, for example, you really want to get notified on key things like that. And you can basically see that in a couple of clicks of a button when you have the dashboard created. The next thing I'd recommend is around costs. So you want to really apply cost controls when you are out of the office. You don't want to get to come back in January and see a huge bill created. I recommend going in and looking at your cost alerts. If there's anything top of mind there that you need to be aware of, you can also go in here and create an alert rule to any basically anomalies that is happening inside your environment that's different today compared to the last 60 days, and it'll basically be generated in the back end. You'll get notified via email here as well. So this is a really useful tool that a lot of people aren't aware of. Most people are aware of this, but just in case some are not, you can go in and create budgets based on what you have forecasted to be able to spend in the cloud for a month-on-month basis. In this case, you can go in and essentially put the budget in place, which is $750, and you will get notified every time that budget hits a certain threshold inside your environment. So this is a really useful way of putting some cost restrictions in place. The next thing is around looking at the service health. So when you're actually out of office during the Christmas period, I highly recommend setting up service health alerts. These alerts basically notify you if there's any critical issues affecting your Azure resources or services or regions that your resources are deployed on. So you can go in here and simply create a service health report, create the condition to the services that you're running, virtual machines, container apps, etc. In the regions that you're running. You can even go as basically as granular as the resource groups that you've got those workloads running in, and be notified via email. So you've really got the option here of being proactive and making sure that you're aware of everything that's happening in the background. One of the other areas that I'd focus on is around Defender for Cloud. If you're running Defender for Cloud to increase your security posture, or maybe to increase workload protection on certain workloads that you're running, I highly recommend setting up email notifications for anything malicious happening inside your environment, whether it be brute force attack, whether it be a malware detection. You want to be notified on those alerts. You don't want to be waiting until January to actually see this alert has been created. So once that alert is triggered, you will be notified via email. You can put in multiple addresses here and get notified, be proactive again. The last thing that I highly recommend is around workflow automation with inside Defender for Cloud. This basically triggers a logic app, which basically comprises of predefined steps that are run automatically when those trigger conditions are met. So in my case, if there's a brute force attack, this will be triggered in the back end to actually fight against that. So these are some of the key areas that I would focus on personally. A lot of what customers aren't aware of, we also have the Azure mobile app. If you really want to be conscious and see what's actually happening inside your environment while you're off, there's an opportunity to download the mobile app as well, so you can see the alerts, you can see any metrics that maybe you need to be aware of.